Welcome back. We are still on the topic graph of quadratic functions. In the previous video, we learned how to use the graph of a quadratic function to find the zeros, the solution or the roots of the quadratic equation formed by equating the function to zero. In this video, we are going to apply what we studied in the previous video to solve some questions. The first question is, complete the table below for the relation y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3. Using a scale of 2 cm to 1 unit on both axes, draw the graph of the relation y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3. From your graph, find the roots of the equation x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. We have already learned how to draw the graph of a quadratic function on the graph sheet. So we will go straight to the last part of the question. That is using the graph to find the roots of the equation x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So this is the graph of the function y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So we drew the graph of this function on the graph sheet. The question wants us to use the graph to find the roots of the equation x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. If you look at this equation carefully, you can see that we got the equation by equating the function to 0. The function is y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3. If you equate this to 0, you are going to have x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. In the previous video, we learned that the roots of this equation from the graph is the x-intercepts. So the roots of this equation is the x-coordinate at the point where the curve intersects the x-axis. The curve intersects the x-axis at two places. The first one is here and the second one is here. The x-coordinate at the first one is minus 1 and the x-coordinate at the second one is 3. So from the graph, the roots of the equation x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0 are minus 1 and 3. Very simple. Let's move on to the next question. Form a table of corresponding values of x and y given the relation y is equal to 4 plus 5x minus 2x squared for this interval. Then choose an appropriate scale and draw the graph of y is equal to 4 plus 5x minus 2x squared. We have learned how to do all these already. So you move straight to the last part of the question. From your graph, find the truth set of the equation 4 plus 5x minus 2x squared is equal to 0. This is the graph of the function y is equal to 4 plus 5x minus 2x squared. The question wants us to use the graph to find the truth set of the equation 4 plus 5x minus 2x squared is equal to 0. The truth set is the solution of the equation written as a truth set. We drew the graph of the function y is equal to 4 plus 5x minus 2x squared. And we are going to use this graph to find the truth set of 4 plus 5x minus 2x squared is equal to 0. We can see that we got the equation by equating the function to 0. So if you equate this function to 0, you have 4 plus 5x minus 2x squared is equal to 0. From the previous video, we learned that the solution of this equation is the x-intercepts. So the x-coordinate at the point where the curve intersects the x-axis. The curve intersects the x-axis at two places. We have the first one here and the second one here. So you read the x-coordinates at these points. Here, from my graph, the x-coordinate is minus 0.7, and here, from my graph, the x-coordinate is 3.2. So the solution of this equation are minus 0.7 and 3.2. The question said we should find a truth set. So you write the solution as a truth set. So from the graph, the truth set of the equation 4 plus 5x minus 2x squared is equal to 0 is, you write it as a truth set. So we have s is such that x is equal to minus 0.7 or 3.2. Let's move on to the next question. Complete the table below for the relation y is equal to s squared minus 2x. Then we will use the values in the table to draw the graph of the relation y is equal to s squared minus 2s. We have learned how to do all these already, so we will move straight to the last part of the question. The last part says that from your graph, find the zeros of the equation s squared minus 2x is equal to 0. From the previous video, we learned that the zeros of an equation is the same as the solution or the roots of the equation. So we are going to use the graph to find the zeros of the equation s squared minus 2x is equal to 0. This is the graph of the function y is equal to s squared minus 2x. We are going to use this graph to find the zeros of the equation s squared minus 2x is equal to 0. We can see that we got this equation by equating the function here to 0. If you equate this function to 0, you have s squared minus 2x is equal to 0. From the previous video, we learned that the solution of this equation is the x-intercepts. So the x-coordinate at the point where the curve intercepts the x-axis. The curve intercepts the x-axis at 2 points. We have the first one here and the second one here. We can see that the first one is at the origin. At the origin, the x-coordinate there is 0. And the second one is on this point. And at this point, the x-coordinate is 2. So the zeros or the solution or the roots of the equation s squared minus 2x is equal to 0 from the graph are 0 and 2. Let's look at the last question. Complete the table below for the relation y is equal to 2 minus s squared. Then we will use the table to draw the graph of y is equal to 2 minus s squared. And then we will use the graph to find the solution of the equation 2 minus s squared is equal to 0. We have already learned how to draw the graph of the relation y is equal to 2 minus s squared is equal to 0. So let's move straight to the last part of the question. This is the graph of the relation y is equal to 2 minus s squared. And the question wants us to use this graph to find the solution set of the equation 2 minus s squared is equal to 0. We got this equation by equating the function to 0. So if we equate the function here to 0, we will have 2 minus s squared is equal to 0. From the previous video, we learned that the solution of this equation is the x-intercepts. So the solution of this equation is the x-coordinates at the point where the curve intercepts the x-axis. The curve intercepts the x-axis at this point and this point. So you read the x value here and you read the x value here to get the solution. From my graph, the x value here is minus 1.4 and the x value here is 1.4. So the solution of this equation 2 minus s squared is equal to 0 from the graph is minus 1.4 and 1.4. But the question said we should find the solution set. So we will write our answer as a truth set. So from the graph, the solution set of the equation 2 minus s squared is equal to 0 is s is such that x is equal to minus 1.4 or 1.4. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel for more videos. We have learned how to use the graph of a quadratic function to find the roots, the solution, or the zeros of the quadratic equation formed by equating the function to 0. In the next video, we are going to learn how to use the graph of a quadratic function to find the turning point of the function. Bye-bye.